Not only do I regret ever voting Democrat, I now believe that it has always been a Democratic mission to not only make black people's lives worse than it has ever been through policies and laws, but to also make black people racist and to make white people hate black people even more. Government psyop, I don't really care what you call it. I just really feel like if the Democrats cared about black people or the minorities or the impoverished or the disenfranchised, they wouldn't be letting shit get so fucking out of hand. And not only that, it's like they knew they were losing power, so let's make everything worse for the fucking Republicans so it makes them look bad, so when we do get back into power, we could just rinse and repeat.
I don't know. This might be one of these venting videos because I honestly think, man, I'm tired. As an American man, I'm tired of the Democrats' mess. I know y'all be seeing it. Y'all see the videos. Y'all see the videos. I've been on a tirade on the Democratic Party, and I feel like I just have to have a video just to rant about it. Because I'm tired of these people. Like, I'm tired of the excuses. I'm tired of, oh my God, Kamala Harris lost because she was a woman and a mixed race. No, she didn't. She lost because she sucked. Sucked. One thing I love about starting this channel is that I got receipts, right? From a month before she collapsed, I predicted, hey, her campaign is going to collapse. Here's why. She's still doing the same ish she did in 2020. And in 2020, CNN was saying that, hey, Kamala Harris's biggest weakness, and one of the reasons why she didn't even make it to the first primary vote for the 2020 Democrat primary was the fact that she didn't know how to talk to people who are not Democrats, right? Because she's a California politician. You know, California, they're used to people voting blue for them no matter what they are. They don't have standards like that in very politically dominated states, right? And this is some of the, like, you know, things that I think men can understand. And I think there's this big push, right? And the Democratic Party realizes that they're losing a certain demographic of American men, black men, as one who's part of that group. It's so easy, so plainly to see why, right? Because of all the emotional messaging that the Democratic Party's been putting out, they're trying to make you fearful, scared, and that don't really rattle men like that. And I think American men are having Democrat fatigue like this. I know if I'm feeling it, it has to be even more annoying for people who are not really political. But I digress. Let's check out this little montage here.
Talking about the current environment, political environment, how are you feeling about that?
Unsettled and reassured by humanity is the short answer.
What do you mean by that?
So this weekend I was at a NASCAR race, and obviously there's some stigma attached to NASCAR. And what was really clear to me is that in the end, people are people. And whether you look a certain type of way, whether you're wearing a certain color hat, whether you're not, when you are at an event and there's a shared love and a shared intersection, people really just end up being people, right? And I was really warmed and taken back by my own preconceived notations of what I should be expecting.
Bro, I see a whole lot of people talking about the political world and different stuff like this, and I just want to say, and this ain't a political video, but I do just want to say this. I don't see what it is. Like, is it because y'all live in blue states that is that bad? Because y'all sitting on here talking about, oh, these last 8 months just been hell, blah, blah, blah. My life has not changed at all in these last 8 months. I ain't lost no rights. I just filled up my truck a couple days ago for $2.49 a gallon. I just went and got a bunch of groceries for the house the other day. That was like $90. Like, bro, my life has not, like, nothing bad has happened in my life. And so that's what I'm wondering. Is it more of like the blue states that this type of stuff is going on in, and maybe does it got something to do with the policies going on in these liberal democratic states? Like, even the school my son goes to, bruh, whenever his mom drops him off every morning, there is an armed police officer at every single building where them kids go that stay there on duty all day long, bruh. You see what I'm saying? Like, dude, it's a different world living in like a more southern red state and living in them blue states, and I think that's got a lot to do with it, bro. I think people that live in blue states, I just don't think, I don't know what it is, bro, but I just know that, and I'm not saying everything Donald Trump did just the best, and I'm just saying, bro, it dang sure ain't nothing like y'all trying to make it seem. Y'all trying to make it seem like this has just been the end of the world these last 8 months, bro. Nothing in my life has changed at all. And so that's really what I'm trying to figure out. What is so bad about what states y'all are living in, or is this more just the stuff y'all making up in y'all head, bro? Like, are y'all just are y'all coming up with stuff that you think is bad just because you don't like Donald Trump, and so you saying it's bad when in reality it's like, nigga, that it really ain't bad, bro. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
And I think that's one of the reasons why the like black liberals hold on to the racism narrative like so much. And I think this is why they're actually threatened when they see black conservatives, right? And this is what, because end of the day, when you try to put this idea that oh racism is holding people back, right? I said back, right? It's this defeatist mindset. Is you're socially conditioning a group of people to subscribe to a certain worldview, to a certain mindset. It's a fixed mindset, right? Look at psychology, fixed mindset versus growth mindset. If you believe that you can do anything you want in this country as long as you put in the time and effort and you prepare for the opportunity, and when the opportunity presents itself, you execute on it, you're always going to be mindful and paying attention to opportunities because that's where success lies in. But if you act like, right, or you condition yourself that, hey, I can't do nothing in this country because of this color of my skin, this country is a racist country, I can't make it anywhere because racism is holding me back. This is the incentive that I talk about with the Democratic Party. And this is what a lot of black men specifically, even Hispanic men, minority men, are waking up to. This idea that, yo, these people are trying to pacify us. These people are trying to make us dependent on them. And this is one of the things that Booker T. Washington kind of warned about. And this is where I try to always hone in when I get these black liberals trying to question my blackness or get mad at me for saying these things that I believe. I believe these things because they're true. Racism can't stop me. And I may not be able to control what happens to me, but I can sure as hell control how I respond to what happens to me. And I don't choose to respond in a way that will make it even more detrimental to my position. And this is something that personal responsibility incentivizes in your culture. And this is why the victim mindset is the biggest mental slavery that the black culture has incentivized in our demographic. Booker T. Washington, there's a certain class of race problem solvers who don't want the patient to get well. Who does that sound like? Black liberals, in my estimation. Because as long as the disease holds, they have not only an easy means of making a living, black liberals, but also an easy medium through which to make themselves prominent before the public. Booker T. Washington, he called a spade a spade. He believed human capital is what drives a community into prosperity, not political capital, right? And black liberals fell into this trap of political capital, right? How welfare destroyed the black family. These are policies that Democrats push. And even if the Democratic Party had good intentions for these policies, the outcome speaks for itself. In the 1960s, before the welfare state expanded, 22% of black children were raised with only one parent. By 1985, after the welfare state expanded, 67% of black children were raised with only one parent. By 2016, after 60 years, nearly 73% of black children were born to unmarried mothers. And they're one of the most poorest demographic in this country. Unmarried single mothers, the poorest demographic in this country. And if you have a community, black community, where over 70% of your children are born to this demographic, are you surprised why the black community is one of the poorest communities in the country? But you want to blame racism, but not the decisions done by generations and generations and generations of blacks. The black people are in their positions because of the choices and decisions that they made. And one of the decisions I criticize a lot as a black conservative is continuously voting for the Democratic Party, especially when their policies no longer, in my estimation, aligns with what is in the best interest of the black community to move forward, to be self-sufficient. Because right now, politically, black people are not self-sufficient because they lack political power. And the only way you can have a solid foundation for political power is to actually be economically successful, having a prominent social economic class to be able to influence politics, right? Black people can only influence politics by being lockstep to one party. No. But this is the kind of thing I think black men are starting to wake up to. They're starting to see the game. And no amount of emotional gaslighting, no amount of shaming tactics from black liberal women is going to change this. No amount of name calling is going to change this. And I know a lot of people have been noticing. It seems like a lot of black men, you know, hey, look, a lot of black men, bro, they're being more open to the idea of voting Republican. And I don't need them to all vote Republican. I just need them to see the BS of the Democratic Party. And you're gonna say, oh, the Republicans have BS too. Yeah, but I believe Republicans have less BS than Democrats. Because when you try to both sides this, if we're both sizing this argument, it makes no sense that the black community votes 77% for the Democratic Party if both sides have problems. So what justifies 77% of your people voting for the Democratic Party if both sides have problems? Right? This is my argument. The both sides argument only comes out when a black conservative makes some solid points about the Democratic Party. But I digress. This is about how American men are tired of the Democratic fatigue because their messaging on fear is not working.
Not only do I regret ever voting Democrat, I now believe that it has always been a Democratic mission to not only make black people's lives worse than it has ever been through policies and laws, but to also make black people racist and to make white people hate black people even more.
This is an interesting take.
And this is why I let in with American men, because end of the day, I think the first group of people to really that's gonna come together, regardless of skin color and all that stuff, is men. Honestly, this is my argument here. Because when we have a common goal, when we have a common interest, we put ish aside. Oh, I don't care if you're white, I don't care if you're black. And this is one of the reasons why I always talk about like the black liberal, because the black liberal do this to black men. They keep making us feel fearful, scared. Oh my God, they're out to get us, right? And we react emotionally to things. Someone telling us the truth, we don't like how the truth sounds, we want to get mad about it, right? And this is what's keeping us from going forward, right? This lack of unity, because we don't have a shared identity. And I believe we do have a shared identity. It's called being an American. It's called being born in this country, right? And we're stewards of this land, and we all have a common interest. Or even if we come from different places, different ethnicities, different heritages, we all have a commonality in this land. And we should look out for the best interest of this land, because what's in the best interest of this land is in broader sense in the best interest of you. It doesn't help you that illegals are mass immigrating into your country. It hurts you, black man. It hurts you, minority. Because you're the first one that is going to be replaced if a large amount of enough of them comes in this country. They can displace you. They can threaten your position, your influence in our politics, right? But what black liberals want to sit here and preach to you, telling you how it's a good thing that illegals are coming in here competing for low-skilled work, which is disproportionately represented by Hispanic Americans and black Americans. But the liberals are telling you, oh, that's not a problem. Oh, it's not an issue. The elitists in the black community who are college educated and they're far away from these things, they're going to tell you the same thing. At least with a conservative goes, hey, look, we don't believe in class. This is going to hurt you. This is disproportionately going to affect your community, and it's not good as a nation to allow immigrants to come into your country and break your laws and be rewarded for that. That don't make no damn sense. Men can see the logic because we're less, we're more willing to be disagreeable. We're more willing to take risky positions. And I think that's where the discourse is going towards. And I think a lot of black people are realizing that, especially black men, because they're the ones most affected by illegals coming in here and hurting their hustle, hurting their livelihoods. But I digress. Let's get back into the video.
That's because humans operate typically based off of incentive structures. Jeff, what do you mean? Let's put this into the context that he's talking about. If you pay attention to the Democratic Party, a majority of the issues they talk about are people who are victims. They tell you you're a victim and they victimize you, and then they sell you on the fact that they have the solution to your victimization. Hey, those white people, those Republicans are racist, and we're going to fight those racist people for you, so vote for us. Hey, the reason you're not doing well and the reason you're struggling financially is because the system is against you because you're black, and those racist Republicans are holding you down. Vote for us Democrats. But here's the thing, since Democrats have made most of their issues about victimization, it actually doesn't help Democrats if black people start doing better and don't need a savior.
In the savior complex, the white savior complex, right? The things that white liberals are the most guilty of, right? This is why a lot of liberals get mad at, me in my life when I go, racism can't stop me. White privilege can't do nothing for me. White privilege, when people, when black liberals come in my life try to sell me about white privilege, I'm like, y'all sitting here acting like white people have a superpower just for being born white, right? It infuriates them. I see it. It nags at them. They go, oh, well, you'll see. When it happens to you, you'll see. And I'll say, I'll never see, because I make an effort. I don't make an excuse. And now they get mad. Oh, you trying to say black people are using racism as an excuse? Yes, a lot of them are. Oh, racism happens. Okay, well, you missing out on a bag, because I saw a story where a white Starbucks lady got fired because of her skin color and she won $25 million. You're missing out on some money. Black person who says that they experienced racism and it held them back in their life. They had a teacher that doubted their dreams and doubted them. We all had doubters growing up. Come on. It's part of growing up. You always have doubters. Now, a lot of these doubters had my skin color, but hey, they were doubters, none the same. And you only have two options. You prove them right or you prove them wrong. And that's all the choices you have. But to subscribe to this victimization logic, and this is why I'm saying Democrats create an incentive structure in our culture to pursue being victims, to look for alibis. This is why you got a lot of these people looking to be trans. Because the liberal hierarchy, the liberal incentive structure is the trans is the most victimized group in America. So if you identify as trans, you're the biggest victim. That's the incentive. That's the game that Democrats have made, because they want you to twist yourself in a bottle to make yourself the most helpless you can be so they can come in and play savior. That's the problem with the liberal. And I never subscribe to that logic. I never subscribe to that worldview, and I probably never will. And I'm saying that that's what's holding black people back. Being so dependent on the Democratic Party for what? And what's the outcomes? You're staying manageable under their thumb? The Democrats have no incentive to better your position. They're only more incentivized to keep you at where you're at right now. Dependent on government programs that they use effectively, like bribery, like bribes, and sedated you and made you comfortable in your position. And they like wise people say, change is outside your comfort zone. And I think a lot of men in this country understands that. Hey, change is outside my comfort zone. If we stay comfortable, this is why Trump won. This is why Trump is so appealing to young men. Because Trump is not comfortable. As you see from the mainstream media, Trump is not comfortable. And men that's what we need for change in this country. And I think a lot of men understand what needs to be done to actually fix this country. It's not going to be comfortable to change this country. It's not going to be comfortable to fix the problems in this country. But it's necessary. And I think a lot more men are waking up to that. And it seems like Democrats are not the party that's willing to do something necessary. And I always say this, if Republicans position themselves as the party that get ish done, right, they'll win another 10 years post-Trump. But I digress. Let's wrap up this video.
But if you can keep black people thinking white people are racist, and you can keep black people thinking that you're the one who is going to fight those racists, you can keep black people voting for you. If black people stay in broken homes and we continue to not make money, we continue to stay overweight, we continue to fail in many of these very important categories, that allows the Democrats to continue to point at history, white people, and racism. And they can present themselves as the savior to that problem, or the ones who will provide a solution, the solution to that problem. But again, they're not actually incentivized to solve the problem for black people. They're actually incentivized to keep black people struggling. And they actually are incentivized to get white people to be racist towards black people. If there's plenty of racism.
That's why white liberals are more likely to change the way they talk depending on the skin color of an individual, right? Because they have to sell you this narrative. They have to sell you this idea that you can't do anything for yourself, that you need them. And this is why I always say that the day that America becomes a colorblind society is the day that Democrats lose the country forever. Because on the policy, right? If I take race, gender, all your identity politics out of the politic, and I only say, hey, these candidates must debate on what is in the best interest of Americans, Democrats lose. Off rip, they lose. Because none of their policies actually benefit Americans. They talk good lip service, but when you look at the outcomes, it hurts a lot of America. Oh, we're going to be soft on crime because, the system can be weaponized against a certain demographics of Americans. And what happens? Law-abiding Americans suffer from it across all the racial groups. Black people are most affected by crime because these crime-ridden cities. But because the criminals are disproportionately black, it's racist. We can't enforce the law, but law-abiding black people are suffering for it. That's one example. And that's why I'm saying that the game is over. The game is over. And my thing is that I call people to the like, argue the results. Bring me the better solution. Bring me the better policy. Don't sit here trying to gaslight me into agreeing with you. Oh, you're a black kid. You should be a Democrat. Screw that. Me, a Democrat? I'm black, not stupid. The Democrats don't align with my solutions, my approach to my worldview. Why would I vote for them? Because of my skin color, because of something I had no control over? You want me to vote for a party? What a lame excuse to vote for a party. What's a dumb reason to vote for a party? I was born black, and Democrats say they're the party of black people. No, Democrats just say ish. That's the reality. Maybe they were good for black people in the 1960s. Maybe. Maybe they had good intentions for the black people. Maybe. But I'm just looking at the outcomes. And black people's position has not gotten better. Black people are still complaining about racism when this is the least racist time ever to be a black person in America. Yet black people's position is worse in our society. Make it make sense relative to everyone else. Black people compared to 1965 black people, we got it better than them. But relative to everyone else, we're still doing just as bad as we did in the past. And America's less racist than it was during those times. Martin Luther King was a third-generation college graduate. And now in 2025, black people are bragging about how they're the first person in their family to graduate from college. How did that happen? Culture. And who helped degrade the black culture? Say it with me, the Democratic Party. But you want me to keep voting for the Democratic Party based on past pedigree, based on a history that's not my history. I'm 29 years old. I didn't live in the 1960s. But people still piggybacking off the struggle of the 1960s to justify their inadequacies, to justify their victimhood today, because someone gave them permission to do that, the Democratic Party. And because Republicans don't want to play along with your victimization, you want to call them a racist. And I think a lot of black men, they're tired of that. I think a lot of men want something actually done in this country. The time for words are over. And we seen Donald Trump, we're like, hey, you may not like what he's doing, but he's doing what he promised he was going to do. I think a lot of men can respect that, regardless of your politics. But let me know your thoughts and perspective in the comment section below. I think you agree with me, disagree with me, your points about this. Do you believe that many people are tired? It's not just American men, but many people are tired of the Democrats-ish. Let me know your thoughts and perspective in the comment section below. I'd like to hear what you guys are thinking. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Please share this video if it feels so kind. It really does help me out in the algorithm. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.